And welcome to another edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast, Patreon exclusive content brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, and as always, it is great to have you guys now on this Wednesday afternoon. It's now noon Eastern Time on the East Coast. Just got wrapped up with the live show. A great show as always. We covered a lot. Obviously, in the first segment, we talked about the passing of Brooks Robinson, the Orioles legend. Then we went into the playoff picture. I recapped the games from yesterday. More specifically, we talked about obviously the chaos in Atlanta, which is the title of the episode, and what transpired in the bottom of the eighth inning. Braves having that dramatic comeback victory against the Cubs. Cubs were up 6-0 in that game going into the bottom of the sixth, and then things kind of unraveled, and the Cubs lost a tough game. And they're a half game up on the Marlins with that third wild card spot. Then we talked about the American League. Mariners picking up a big win against the Astros, winning 6-2. And the rubber game is tonight. So, if the Astros lose, they could be on the outside looking in. And I also mentioned how the Blue Jays, they, losing to the Yankees last night, 2-0. And, that's a big loss for them. But, again, I think they're still going to, it's a big loss for them, but I still think that they are, they're going to have that second wild card spot. And then, we previewed all the games for tonight. And, excuse me. So that was pretty much a rundown of the show. Obviously, the big thing from last night is, of course, what happened in Atlanta with the Cubs. A 6-0 lead. You had Justin Steele on the mound. It looked like, hey, the Cubs are going to win. But then slowly but surely, the Braves, they came back into the game. And, fly out to right field by Sean Murphy, and you're thinking, yep, the Cubs are going to get out of this inning, and with the lead going into the ninth, and Seiya Suzuki misplayed the ball, and Braves ended up getting 2 runs off of that, and Cubs end up losing a heartbreaker. And especially at this point in the season, you got 2 more games left with the Braves, and then you got 3 games against the Brewers. The Brewers did clinch the division, but it's not good right now for the Cubs. And, yeah, I talked about it on the show. A lot of people didn't really expect them to be, at this point in the season. But, it's definitely something you don't want as a Cubs fan with what's going on with this team. This team really has not been playing well as of late. Just going to fix my chair here. They haven't been playing well as of late. They did sweep the Rockies, but now you're at this hard part of the schedule. You got the Braves, who are the best team in baseball, and then you got the Brewers, who are the best team in your division. The Brewers, we'll see how they approach these last few games of the season, because they're pretty much locked into the third spot. The Dodgers and the Braves are going to have first round buys. You're going to be playing in the wild card round. So, but the other thing too is, if the Cubs still have that third spot going into that series, Brewers can be like, hey, we don't want to face you. We're going to knock you out and play somebody else. So they'll play their guys. I don't know. I don't really know how it's going to work if they're going to rest people or not, but because, you don't want to risk injury going into the postseason. There is that. But you'd be like, hey, we want to keep our guys fresh, and we want to knock you out of the playoffs. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. The Cubs, they really need to win tonight. They just do. You got Jameson Taillon on the mound, so it's not going to be easy because, he hasn't been great, and the Braves are the best team in baseball. But maybe Taillon steps up and the Cubs pull off the upset. So we'll see what happens. But again, also in the American League, the Astros obviously lost a big game, and I kind of figured that game they were going to lose just because Christian Javier has not been great as of late. The Astros offense was non-existent last night. So, they got to win tonight, because if they don't, they're going to be on the outside looking in. And they're going to be going up against the Diamondbacks this weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And if they miss the playoffs, I mean, is Dusty Baker, gone? Because that was one thing that I saw looking at, an Astros fan page on Instagram. Everybody's saying Dusty needs to be gone. The team carried him to the World Series. And, if they miss the playoffs, I mean, they're probably going to make a change. They probably will. And that's a team that, if they have a disappointing season, they will make a change. When you look at a team that I root for, they might not make any changes after having a really disappointing season. So, it's not confirmed, quick thing, it's not confirmed that Aaron Boone's going to be back, but I think he will be. I think he should be. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Dusty Baker could be gone if the Astros don't make the playoffs. So I think they still will. Again, I don't want to bet against them. When they are done, that's when I'll believe it. Like if they're officially eliminated, then I'll believe it. But until that happens, I'm not going to give up on them. I'm just not. And again, it goes back to the history I have with this team and the pain that they have caused for me over the years since 2015. So listen, everything with the cheating, we understand that. And, I'm not somebody that, I don't think I've ever said, I might have said this, but I'm not somebody that, looks at the Astros and says the cheating is the reason why they beat the Yankees. I don't believe that. The reason why the Astros beat the Yankees is because they were a better team and because the Yankees couldn't hit against them. That's why in 2017. And you could look in 2019, same thing. Last year, same thing. And it got worse and worse as we've gone through these years. You go from Game 7 to Game 6 to getting swept. So yeah, it's just. But yeah, I think as long as the Astros are still in it and they're not eliminated, I'm going to continue to believe that they will still make it and they'll figure it out. But I don't know. But yeah, something is off. I mean, if they lose tonight, they're not going to finish with at least 90 wins. So it's kind of been a rough season for them. But they still have a chance to make the postseason, and they got to win tonight. So we'll have to see what happens. But it would be crazy if they end up not making it. They trade and get Verlander back. Your lineup's healthy for the most part, and you're still gonna miss the playoffs. That's crazy. I don't think it's gonna happen, but the Blue Jays, though. I mean, I don't know what else to say when it comes to them. I mean, listen, if they go out and win tonight, then no complaints coming from me. But, I mean, obviously, even though they're playing against Garrett Cole, so they got to deal with Garrett Cole tonight, so it's going to be tough. But, I mean, you couldn't put up any runs yesterday. Nothing. Against Johnny Brito. Michael King's been very good, but I mean, like, what are you doing? They could not get a big hit. It's against the team that it's out of it. Their best player isn't in the lineup, and you couldn't do anything. But again, it's a reflection on the Blue Jays as a team. It's a reflection on them, and in big moments, they shrink. That's just what it comes down to. And it's been like that the last few years now. They have a very good team. There's no question about it. Their starting pitching is very good. Their lineup is very good. They have a very good closer. Although he gave up the home run last night. But, I mean, can't score anything last night? Nothing? I don't really expect them to do anything in the playoffs. I don't. I really don't. I think they can make it past the wild card round, but I think ultimately they make it to the division series, they're going to be done. I think so. I do. I mean, they got swept by the Rangers. I mean, I'd favor the Orioles over them. Probably favor the Rays over them too. You know? I mean, the Blue Jays, I could see them beating the Twins. But I wouldn't take them over the Rays. I wouldn't take them over the Rangers. I wouldn't take them over the Astros. And I wouldn't take them over the Orioles. I just wouldn't. But again, they have a very good team. The starting pitching is very good. But I don't know what it is. It's just when you get to a certain point in the season where you got to win games, they come up small. And this is an example of them coming up small. Is losing 2-0 against the Yankees, who are not a good team this year. They're not. I mean, they should be able to hit. I mean, Johnny Brito has been good since he's, been like the bulk guy in the bullpen. But you can't hit Johnny Brito? I don't know. But it's kind of funny me getting annoyed at some of these teams. And these are teams that they're rivals with my team. It's whatever, I guess. But yeah, they got to get back on the right track. Orioles, I mean, I think the division is theirs, but yeah, I mean, I'm just interested to see like how is Texas going to be in the playoffs? How some of these teams that haven't made it in a while, like how are they going to be? Because you got the Rangers, you got the Orioles. The Blue Jays they made the wild card, but, we'll see if they get past that. The Twins are back in it. The Mariners obviously were in it last year. The Astros have been in it for a while. And then on the other side, you have the Brewers. You have the Phillies, who've made it 2 straight years. The Diamondbacks haven't been there in a while. The Cubs, they haven't been there recently. If they make it, I mean, I do want to see the Marlins make it. I do. I want to see the Marlins make it. Also, because I'm a Jake Burger fan, and it kind of started out as like a meme, just because of his name, Jake Burger. Love cheeseburgers, but Jake Burger's a good player. Jake Burger's had a solid season. And he's been great since the Marlins got him. And I want to see that team make it. They did make it during the COVID season, but I want to see them make it this year. But it's going to probably be at the expense of the Cubs. So yeah, it's just it's mayhem. It really is. Right now it's mayhem with what's going on. And it's kind of funny because since starting the show, I've been paying like very close attention to all this. And it's just funny how some of my friends, they really just are not paying attention to what's going on. They're like, wow, the wild card race is really close. And I'm like to myself, yeah, I mean, I've been looking at all this stuff every day now because I have to. But I'm really excited for the postseason. Like to be able to cover that is going to be a lot of fun. And I think how it's all, and I've talked about this. I think how it works is I'm just going to cover like each individual series, for a segment or something like that. We'll figure it out. But I'd like to get your guys' input. on things. Obviously, leaving comments and sending chats into the live stream. Because I want to get everybody else's opinion on it too. Not just mine. Because obviously, like, if you're a fan of a team that's in the playoffs, I might not necessarily be an expert on it, but, I'd like to get your thoughts on it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting. It's next week. Actually, let's look. So, the last game of the season is October 1st. So that is on Sunday. And Sunday, I will be attending the New York Jets versus the Kansas City Chiefs at MetLife Stadium. I will be going to that game. Now, I am not a Jet fan, but I want to let you guys know that before the season started, I wanted to go to this game. I wanted to go to this game very badly. As soon as the schedule came out, I said I want to go to this game. It was so it's Sunday night. It's at 8:20 at MetLife Stadium, and I bought the tickets. I'm gonna go with a bunch of friends, and we're gonna go to this game. Now, this was before Aaron Rodgers got hurt. So once Aaron Rodgers got hurt and he's out for the rest of the year, I was like, oh shoot, that's not good, because now we got to see Zach Wilson against Patrick Mahomes. Now, we're still going to see Patrick Mahomes, although he actually tweaked his ankle the other day, and that scared me because I thought, oh no, this is not good. But he ended up being fine. So yeah, we're going to be going to this game on Sunday. We're going to take a bus there. And there's like a whole tailgate and stuff, and then obviously the game is at night. So I will be out all day on Sunday. But that is when the last game of the regular season for baseball will be. And actually, they do have the pitching matchups lined up for the weekend. Well, at least for Saturday and Sunday, the Royals and the Yankees. So the Yankees got to deal with Jordan Lyles and Zach Greinke, who I talked about yesterday. So actually, yeah, the Phillies. All right, so everything starts Tuesday. Tuesday is the day everything starts. So right now, yeah, the Phillies, they're locked in. The Brewers are locked into their spot. So you're gonna have 4 games on Tuesday, 4 games on Wednesday, and then if necessary, 4 games on Thursday. So, again, depending on what the matchups are, you could see, some of these series ending in 2 games. Maybe you'll see some ending, on Thursday going the full 3 games. We'll have to wait and see. Nothing on Friday. Next Saturday, October 7th is when everything starts. That's when you're going to have both the American League Division Series and the National League Division Series. So that's when that starts. But yeah, everything starts on Tuesday. So, make sure to lock in for that. And yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. But yeah, the Brewers and the Phillies, they're locked into their playoff spots. But still, we're waiting on things to be finalized. Because the Twins, I mean, they still have like a slight chance to catch whoever's, leading the American League West for the bye, but it's not going to happen. So they're going to have the 3rd seed, and it's going to be probably the Rangers, and either the Rays or the Orioles are going to have the top spot. So, and then the National League, I mean, who knows? I mean, the Padres, maybe no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But yeah, it's going to be. I think it's right now. It's going to be the Cubs. It's going to be the Cubs or the Marlins. I think. I want personally, for me, I want to see the Marlins. I don't want to count out the Reds, obviously, but I just think right now, I would say it's the Marlins or the Cubs at the moment. At the moment, but that can all change. Reds got a big win against the Guardians, but yeah, I mean it's gonna be mayhem. It's mayhem right now. So yeah, I mean we're just gonna have to just gotta keep watching, But I just can't believe it. It's next week already. It's less than a week. Less than a week now, and yeah, again, just got to see how the pitching matchups line up because it's going to be tough when teams get out of that round and they make it to the division series because you're not going to have your best pitcher to start the next series. And obviously, if you're a team that's going up against the Orioles, the Braves, the Dodgers, you want to have, against these really good lineups. If Texas ends up winning the division, they got a great lineup too. Those four teams, if they end up being the teams with the byes, all those lineups are just incredible. And, you don't want to be down 0-1. You don't, because that just obviously makes obviously that's a kind of a, basic thing to say. But, but I'm saying in terms of you being like an underdog team, like you want to get that upset win right away. Because that just, just build off of that. But, with these wild card rounds, that's when you have to use your best pitchers. So, obviously the pitching situation is kind of different with some of these teams. The Braves, they should have a healthy pitching staff by the time they play their first playoff game. The Orioles, I worry about their pitching. The Dodgers, there's some concern there, but not as much concern I think for me as opposed to the Orioles. And then the Rangers, obviously you got Evaldi. Montgomery's been good as of late. Dunning's has had a good year, but like Scherzer's done for the year. DeGrom, that didn't pan out, and you hope he can come back, but obviously not this year, but you know what? A lot of these teams, they have very good lineups, and if you have a very good lineup and if you got a good bullpen, Orioles got a good bullpen, so yeah, it's but if you're a wild card team going up against one of those four, making it out of the round, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because all those lineups are very good. And again, Texas hasn't wrapped up the division yet, but I think they pretty much got it. But who knows? They got 4 against the Mariners, and those are important games for both teams. And obviously tonight's game is huge. Mariners, Astros. It's I just still, again, the Astros missed the playoffs. That's crazy. And especially a year after winning the World Series. But yeah, something was off with them this year. And you know what? It happens. It happens. And you know what? It's hard to repeat. It just is. It hasn't been done in a while in baseball. The Astros have made it to the championship series, every year since 2017, right? Yeah, they made it in 2017. 2018, they lost to the Red Sox. 19, they beat the Yankees. 2020, they lost to the Rays. 21, they beat the Red Sox. Last year, Yankees. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. So, 2017, Yankees. 18, Red Sox. 19 Yankees, 20 Rays, 21 Red Sox, 22. That is so weird. It's all AL East teams. Might be an AL East team again, in it again this year. But that just goes to show you how good the AL East is. Listen, between all the, maybe the animosity towards the other teams, AL East is the best division. It just is. It just is. And it's always them. It's always a team from that division against the Astros to go to the World Series. Except, the Red Sox were able to make it. The Rays were able to make it. But the New York Yankees, they're on the outside looking in. Got eliminated. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. Changes are... Aaron Judge has got some ideas. Don't worry. I don't know. I got nothing. But, yeah, so, again, as I keep saying, make sure to, pay attention to some of these big games tonight. Because there's huge playoff implications that go along with that. I don't know how many times I got to say it. So, but yeah, playoffs are around the corner. It's getting there. It's getting there, and it's gonna be here before you know it. Because this week's already flying by. We're already halfway through the week, and yeah, and then the regular season's over. Playoffs take over, and then we're off and running. And then we got a lot of stuff planned for that. Previewing it. The wild card series. I might do like maybe like a tier list of some sort, some pyramid where you go from like, the teams that with all the teams, who's least likely to, most likely going to the World Series. I did that kind of with like the power rankings, but I could do something like that with like all the teams that are in the postseason. So, and then maybe list reasons like why this team will make it to the World Series, why this team could go far, why they can't, things like that. So yeah, there's a lot to that we can discuss over the course of the the postseason. It's really just all going to come down to what this show is going to be like when there is no baseball, because yeah, at some point it's going to happen. We got another month, and then once baseball is over, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Because it's going to be it'll be a long off season. You got November, December, January, then some games start getting played, in February. Then you got March when spring training ramps up, and then we get to the regular season. Which I don't know when does the regular season? Well, it started I think on March 31st this year, so that might be around the same time when it does. So yeah, so there's gonna be those few months where it's gonna be like, now what? But we'll figure it out. We definitely will. I think, and I've said this, one of the most important things is I think the interaction with the viewers, with you guys. So obviously, if you're asking me questions and I'm asking you guys questions in the chat, during the live show, that's gonna help, make the show, once we get to that point, which I'm looking forward to. That's interacting with people, and especially interacting with fans that may not be particularly fond of my team. I'd like to, have those conversations, so you can know more about me and where I stand on certain things, which I think, for the most part, I've kind of made it known, what kind of Yankee fan I am. But, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to all of that, so. But, yeah, we're getting closer to the postseason, and, yeah, make sure to tune into some of those games tonight. But yeah, that's all the time that we have for today's edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast Patreon exclusive content. So make sure to tune in to the live show tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll obviously recap the games from tomorrow, for tomorrow's show, and things like that. And yeah, we'll see what happens tonight in some of these big games. So, so until then, once again, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder, signing off from the GSMC Baseball Podcast Patreon exclusive content. Once again, have a good day, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Take care.